What is up, RotoGrinders? Welcome to Wednesday NBA DFS conversation. 2 hours non-stop, taking you guys all up the lock, all the way up to I would say tip-off, but never does the NBA actually start at 7 o'clock. Very, very rarely. 7:10, but you're locked in for the first 10 minutes or so, and hopefully nothing goofy happens. The sites did not cooperate once again. DK leaving off the last two games for savings. No Memphis, no Phoenix. That is on the FanDuel slate. The 10 o'clock East Coast game, as well as the back half of the ESPN doubleheader. The Lakers taking on Minnesota. That is only on FanDuel. We also have a game that was moved because of the World Series. We're not going to be talking about Houston and Toronto. Toronto, they start 6:30 on the East Coast. So no Sandro Mamukelashvili conversation. Presumably he's going to start today for Toronto, but we don't really care. Daka Pirtle is out. He's got a back. Myself, Tim Buell, Tasteful Tides. It is a Wheel Wednesday. What's up, chat? Hit that like button. Do subscribe. Turn on those notifications. Do all those things. Hit all those buttons to help us keep the lights on here. Get in that Discord channel. Win yourself a week free of RG Premium. How do you do that? Get in the Discord channel. RotoGrinders.com/Discord. Live stream chat channel. That channel is where producer Steve has a post. Should be jumping in there any second now. It might already be posted by now because he said he was going to do it about a minute ago. And just click the avatar, and then your name is going to be on the wheel when we spin the wheel. About an hour into the show, I presume we're going to do one spin and two if we get 100 likes. Let's do that, right? I'm assuming that's what Steve said. I will yield to him. I'm pulling it up right now. Well, he'll be posting it momentarily. But, yeah, there it is. Just click that wheel avatar. You'll get your name on there, and you get yourself a week free of RG Premium. If your name happens to get pulled later on in the show, you have Beermakersfan, as well as Noto, Chief Mineralogist Kevin Roth, coming in for crunch time around 6:15 on the East Coast, taking y'all home. But you got myself and Tim for 7 games on DK. We'll see if we get to the FanDuel stuff. If not, and of course, the last 2 games for FanDuel, they'll talk about that. They'll focus on that specific, both sites. We'll kind of bounce back and forth as well. Tim, happy Wednesday. How are things? Everything good?
Yeah, happy Wednesday, Dino. Only one hockey game on the NHL slate tonight, so I had plenty of time to dig into basketball. Like you said, only 7 on DK, 9 on FanDuel. Definitely an NBA night for me tonight. No hockey, obviously no football tonight, so I'm excited to just worry about NBA. And I don't want to jinx anything, Dean, but there's not a lot going on the injury report.
Zion is questionable. He plays late, but it seems like he's going to play. I think he's going to play. He did practice. They're already likely to get blown out there in Denver, but winless Pelicans, they still can use a W at some point this season. Probably not getting it either way. He's officially questionable. Asar Thompson for Detroit is questionable. Trying to see if anything else that's we're kind of monitoring. You're right. It's mostly clean. I wouldn't say cleanness. We already know. Like, there's a lot of players that are ruled out. We'll discuss. We'll talk about that. For FanDuel, Chris Murray and Thibault are questionable for Portland. Those guys are not especially meaningful. Nurkic already ruled in. I'm looking at the 4:30 injury report. Which one could be kind of sneaky interesting is that Keon Ellis got a midday downgrade for Sacramento, and Westbrook is projecting to be one of the best plays on the slate, kind of out of nowhere. I don't know if we're saying out of nowhere, but he started yesterday. You could maybe argue that it was because it was an OKC. Is that why he started? Just to give him a start there? I'm not sure. It's really hard to try to figure out what the Kings do because they don't really – logic is not something that factors into their decision-making process many times. Like, I think Westbrook is such a fun player, and I think he's awesome for the league. He probably shouldn't be on this team. I don't know. The whole team is a mess. The Kings are one of the worst organizations in basketball, taking on the Bulls, who kind of one of the worst organizations in basketball, but they've been great so far this year for what it's worth. And these teams like to trade with each other too. But if Ellis is out, I think that really would clear the way for Westbrook. Monk would be there, I suppose, but that's we've seen Ellis start. The point is it would just solidify. I know it doesn't mean a lot. Keon Ellis in or out. You're not going to play Keon Ellis, but there's a chance Ellis would grab that starting spot back. So, speaking of back-to-backs, not a lot today. very few teams as far as, it's all island games, essentially. Back half of back-to-back, the only team is the aforementioned Sacramento Kings. They're traveling as well. So back-to-back and travel. The only team on the front end, I believe, is Orlando. I wrote this stuff down earlier today, assuming I did it correctly. ESPN night, first half of the ESPN doubleheader is Cleveland-Boston. Back half is the Lakers and Minnesota. And you're right. Like, as far as the body parts are monitoring, who's in, who's out, the questionable stuff, not a lot of diciness. Karis LeVert is questionable. Marcus Sasser, that's like a nothing. But everything else seems, again, this is the association. Things will probably drop, but it's almost all island games. So I think it's going to be pretty clean. They already ruled everybody out for the Pacers. There's nobody else left to rule out. Obi Toppin, they say, at least a month or so. Nembhard, of course, McConnell hasn't played all season long. Matherin's hurt. Halliburton probably out for the season. Even just for fun, Johnny Furphy, he's got a foot. He can't play. I'm not sure if you saw, but they did call up or sign, dunker extraordinaire Mac McClung, who I imagine will be in uniform tonight. He'll be the 10th man. I don't think he's in the pool for either site, but I think our projection team is accounting from the least place in basketball tonight. And it's interesting because he's the 10th guy, and you look at their. I guess we'll get to it. That we'll go game by game here, Tim. Do you have any overarching main thoughts? Because the Pacers are projected to lose here versus Dallas. Dallas has been kind of bad so far to start the season. I assume they're going to get right. They still have some ball handling issues. They don't really have a point guard, which is kind of a problem. They try to make Cooper Flagg be their point guard, and in a small sample, it's not gotten there just yet. But these players are really, really cheap. They're going to play 240 minutes. The Pacers are not going to get shut out. They're going to score at least 80 points, possibly 100, maybe more. So this has us talking about Ray J. Dennis before the show starts, but they have a lot of bigs too. If they have one thing they have depth at, they still have their big rotation nonsense of Isaiah Jackson, who may already be in foul trouble before the game even starts. Jay Huff, Tony Bradley, Pascal's a big as well. I feel like the Pacers kind of drive the slate, especially on DK. If you look at the prices, it's just easier to make them work on DK than on FanDuel. If you're running optimals, at least I was running them before the show not too long ago. I don't think they've changed, but 3, 4, 5 Pacers in some of these lineups. I'm running them right now, 3 or 4 or 5 Pacers in most every single lineup. And is that the way you see the slate? That's the big decision point, or one of the big decision points is how do you handle the Pacers?
Yeah, I mean, it's how do you handle them? How many do you play in a single lineup? As a single entry player, for me, it's going to be how many Indiana players am I going to be playing on one lineup, and also how do I make the rest of my lineup different, where I can hit a ceiling and separate from the field in single entry GPPs or 3 max stuff, and obviously that applies in large field as well. You're going to be getting to a lot of these guys in your portfolio, I would assume in any format tonight. But then, the real, how you actually are going to be making money here is how do you get creative with the rest of your team in order to separate here. So that's going to be the key to this slate, assuming everything else stays the same. It's going to be Pacers. I always run, a generic Sims before the show just to see what's going on. Yeah, I mean, I'm just getting to tons of Indiana. It's not even close. It's in team exposures, I'm getting 98% Indiana in 150 lineups. It's insane. So I mean, it's Sims are absolutely littered with Pacers today, and that's for good reason, because they're short bodies, and who they have are incredibly cheap, and their matchup is somewhat decent, and these guys will be playing minutes. So this is one of those situations where basketball, in terms of DFS, really is different from the other sports that we play, where I think cheap chalk should be played more aggressively, where in other sports maybe we could take a more neutral approach, or even some fades. But in NBA, I'm you really got to jam these guys in my opinion, most of the time.
Yeah, and I'm just trying to sort through how many is too many. And we'll talk about Indiana. We'll go game by game in a second. And I just want to kind of touch on that. And I'm not sure if Ray J. Dennis chalk is good. Like if he puts up 25, that's fine, but you don't necessarily need it. And that's kind of what he's projected for right now. And again, he's 3.8 on DK. I think he's like 4.8 or so on FanDuel. These guys are a little more expensive on FanDuel. So, and you have more options to play with too. There's more games, more potential value. So I don't know how much you, I think Indiana is more vital, I guess, on DK.
On FanDuel, it's a completely different situation. I don't know if you want me to touch on that really quick, but on FanDuel, you're not getting to these guys nearly as much. Like it's like, I'm getting to 55% team exposure of the Pacers versus 98% on DK. So I mean, it is like a completely different site over there tonight. They have the 2 added games as well. So, just make sure if you're asking questions in Discord or in YouTube, like you really specify which site you're playing on. Cause like most slates this year, it's very, very different and pricing is very different. And this whole Indiana situation is incredibly different. So when we're talking about how amazing Indiana is for a play, we're mainly talking about DraftKings. Now, guys like Ben Shepherd on FanDuel at 4,500, Jarris Walker at 4,800. Yes, they are good values. Yes, they are good values on FanDuel, but the team as a whole not nearly as strong on the FanDuel site.
I thought I was being, I don't know, clever or smart, and I was like, and I was writing this in the survey today. I'm like, the way I'm going to play the Pacers is I'm just going to run it back with Mavericks, and I love Anthony Davis, and I've been thinking through a whole bunch of stuff today. I've been, still kind of catching up in the season and seeing what kind of trends may or may not be real, and I don't know what's real and what's not real at this point. Like if we're 4 games in, the Miami Heat, which I think is real. The Miami Heat are playing at the fastest pace in basketball, and I'm pretty sure it's real. I watched that entire game that last night versus the Hornets, they are flying. The Pelicans are the worst rebounding team in basketball, but like 8 rebounds. And one of the games they played against Boston, they're giving up 77 rebounds per game. It's insane. That should level out a little bit, but they're going to give up a pile of rebounds. But yeah, I was thinking about, I'm going to play Anthony Davis and going to play, one of my favorite plays in the slate, I guess is D'Angelo Russell. I really like D'Angelo Russell because they need his ball handling there in Dallas, and his minutes have crept up as they've gotten better the last couple games. He actually had 10 assists last game, 15 potentials against OKC. It's not, and I'm like, well, nobody's going to do that. And I'm looking at optimal stuff, and like optimals are giving me like the 4th lineup I saw or 5th lineup is like 3 Pacers, Russell and Anthony Davis. I'm like, well, great. This is like super, super chalky. And we like to live in those single entry tournaments. And that's where stuff like that's going to get even more heightened. So now I don't even know if I want to play it because people are going to do, and I see Mr. Richard in chat talking about it. Is everybody going to do this? They're just going to run it back with Mavs and just kind of like make it a 1-game slate essentially, just fill it in around there. I'm not sure, but I don't want to outsmart myself, but that's kind of where that was my thought earlier today is, maybe I don't think I'm going to go 4 Pacers, but maybe 3 Pacers and 2 Mavs. But we'll see. Is that have you been?
I feel like the most popular run back is going to be PJ Washington at 6K. I think he's projecting for a little bit more ownership than D'Angelo Russell. So I'm sure that a lot of people are going to force run backs here. I bet that is going to be pretty popular. A little bit surprised that AD's not getting more ownership just because it's pretty easy to play these really, really cheap Pacers and then run it back with the highest usage guy on the opposing team. So I was kind of surprised to see AD's projected ownership as low as it is. If I really think it's going to be like that, that might be the guy I start off with, as my run back. I wonder if
I hope you're right. I hope he's ignored because he's going to play the 5, right? So there's not officially ruled out, but Gafford and Lively are both doubtful. I love him at the 5 versus Pacer team. He's got a double-double every single game this year. He hasn't exactly had an explosion game, but for sure he can absolutely ravage this Pacers team without Miles Turner as well, another big that's gone, obviously. via the trade. I cut you off. You're in the middle of saying something. My apologies.
No, I wonder if people are going to go back to Cooper Flagg, or if they're gonna click his name due to that shoulder injury. I'm just curious. I think we have right around 10% right now. Like he had a pretty bad game last game, 31 minutes, and 1 from 9 from the field. So not his best outing. And I wonder if people are gonna. I don't know if he's going to be as good as people say he is, but we know he's going to have amazing games in the NBA. And I wonder if sentiment is going to be a little bit bearish on this slate. So I wonder if he's going to be a pretty good GPP play.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's going to be legit good. We care about today and today only. And I think his ball handling is getting subdued, so I think his upside's a little bit going away. He did have an MRI. Apparently, he's not in the injury report. I guess it's clean. He was all wrapped up the other night. So I thought there was a chance he wouldn't play. And you'd have to assume that if there's any reason to sit him, they would sit him just because. And, feels like a game they can win without him. But I'm going to be under, I'm pretty sure, on Flagg. I'm going to play. I'm not going to say I won't play him. This is the other night. Me and Chopper besmirching Royce O'Neal. And it's like, and, who wants to play like Royce O'Neal? But then it turns out Dylan Brooks gets ruled out, and it's like, oh, well, this guy's going to play 40 minutes. We got to play Royce O'Neal. And he was a monster, and I actually built a team around the Utah and Phoenix stack, and it was amazing. And it's like, oh, man, I should not have said bad things about Royce O'Neal earlier. But, situations change. And when Brooks was rolled out. But as things stand right now, point is, as things stand right now, he's my 4th favorite Maverick behind Davis and Russell and Washington. There's no chance I'll play Klay Thompson. I don't think it's over for him. The defense has been a disaster. Even like Jaden Hardy is not like completely insane in large field stuff. But okay, we should dive in and do the old game by game deal unless you have anything else to say here, and we'll circle back and talk more Pacers and Mavs soon enough. But unless you got anything else, Tim, we're gonna do the old
let's do it.
Game
let's
by game.
Do it. Yep, let's do it.
Yeah, 7:00. There's 2 7:00 games. The first one is the Magic. The Magic taking on the Pistons. 226.5 is the total. Two teams kind of probably disappointing to start off the season. Orlando is a 2-point favorite here in Detroit as far as who's in and who's out. This is a pretty important one, I would say. If nothing else for defensive reasons. Oscar Thompson is officially questionable tonight for Detroit. What is his body part? Oh, they say he's ill. His entire body. He had the fish. He's ill. And then Marcus Sasser, he's got a hip, so he's questionable, as is Karis LeVert. Jaden Ivey, we've not seen this year just yet. Orlando is healthy as you're going to see him, right? Everybody's good for Orlando. Jalen Suggs is not resting. He'll probably rest tomorrow because it's the front end of a back-to-back. Pistons, Magic. We do have a really cheap Jalen Duren on FanDuel. He's got a wide range of outcomes. We talked about he can get 2 quick fouls. He can get an ejection. He's done both those themes this year. And he also can get explosion games. You catch him on the right night. How do we feel about the Magic and the Pistons?
Yeah, we're starting on the Orlando side. We're not going to be touching Jalen Suggs here. It's really going to be tough to play this big 3 of Orlando, whether it be Bane, Wagner, Banchero, just because they all have similar usage rates, and they are within $1,700 of each other on DK. If I had to pick out between Bane, Wagner, and Banchero, it would be Banchero for me. I'm only getting to around 10% of Banchero and Sims, so I am coming underweight there. Other than that, I'm really getting just like very, very, very small amounts of like Anthony Black, maybe. He's point guard, shooting guard at 4K, but and this is kind of a smaller slate on the DK side, so you might have to take some of these shots on some of these bench guys in really large field stuff. Maybe get a sprinkle of Anthony Black, but other than that, I'm not really getting to any Bane or Wagner, and no Suggs, and no Wendell Carter even.
I know Black has stolen some minutes from Tyus Jones. Tyus Jones has been pretty bad for Orlando. I didn't really.
Oh, and I should. Sorry, Dean. I should say, like, if Oscar Thompson sits, Wagner would be a better play, but I'm assuming Thompson plays. But if he doesn't, you could boost up Wagner a little bit here, and just see if he can finally get something going, because it would be a better matchup for him, I'm assuming, with no Thompson. So if Thompson's out, you could maybe boost Wagner a little bit.
Yeah, Wagner, better matchup with the Ausar Thompson as one of the better wing defenders. I want to see if we had an if-then setup, because also if we happen to lose Ausar Thompson, I don't know if there's a direct beneficiary for Detroit. It'll be just kind of incremental bumps. I guess the best one would be Holland, but I don't know if you have to play Holland. But he would probably have the best bump, right? That's what I'm saying as far as the if-then stuff. If we happen to lose Ausar Thompson, we're giving 28 minutes to Ronald Holland. The second, about 23 FanDuel, 23 DK. As far as a median, I don't know how much you need that. He probably jumps in the starting lineup. Again, I don't know how necessary that is. Just sort of throwing it out there. And we'll see. We'll know. If we don't know, Crunch Time's going to know, because that's a 7 o'clock game. So, at worst, assuming, they're on the up and up, we get the decent reporting and all that. We get starting lineups at 6:30. So if we don't know, Crunch Time, we'll talk about it. But I'm guessing Ausar plays, but I don't know. Right. Just a guess.
Yeah, and if he plays, I'm just not gonna be considering anyone from the Magic.
Yeah, I don't really like this game a heck of a lot. Bane's been kind of disappointing so far.
This game's terrible.
It's not been great. It does. I mean, you never really know how this stuff goes. And this season, the Magic have been playing faster, 8th fastest pace. I think their defense has been weaker than anticipated. I think they're middle of the pack. Am I right in saying that? Where is Orlando? Yeah, they're middle of the pack as far as our defensive rating this year. But unless you got anything else, as far as Orlando, Detroit, it doesn't sound like we're terribly enthused about this one, both sides.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm not getting to any Detroit either.
The Cavaliers, they're in Boston. 234.5 is a total. Boston is a 4.5-point dog here versus Cleveland, who's in and who's out. This is the other 7 o'clock game. This is the ESPN doubleheader. Jaylen Brown expected to be good to go with his hamstring. Otherwise, Boston, this is as healthy as you're going to get Boston essentially all season long. We're projecting Josh Mina to draw the starts. It's really, really hard to figure out. I don't know if it's even worth the energy or the effort. That was sort of my conclusion, to figure out who to play or who to think about playing, or the minute delegation. I'll leave it to the projection team when it comes to the Boston Bigs. Keita is expected to start as well, but they have a lot of options, a lot of players, and typically it's just not going to get you there. For me in Boston, you're thinking about the big three loosely defined. If you got to round up the three, it's Derek White, Jaylen Brown, and Peyton Pritchard. As far as Cleveland, there's no Darius Garland. Sam Merrill's going to be out for a bit. I don't know how long. They said his hip hurts pretty good. He's definitely out tonight. That's all we care about. Max Strus, we're not going to see him for a while. We're anticipating Jalen Tyson to draw the start here for Cleveland. This Boston team, rebounding is going to be an issue. So you got to feel like Mobley is well positioned here. I was really surprised. This is small sample stuff, Tim. I thought Boston would be flying this year as far as pace. They're shooting a lot of threes. I think they're shooting more threes than anybody else, if not the most, top 2, top 3. But they've been really slow, the third slowest pace in basketball in 4 games. So that is kind of surprising to me. And Cleveland, faster. Cleveland is 9th in the league in pace. Defensively, this Cleveland team's good. 6th overall. Boston's been pretty good as well. They're both top 10. And this is just 4 games in. You never really know what kind of conclusions you can make. But, the Cavs and the Celtics, what catches your eye here?
Nobody really catches my eye. These would all just be large field GPP plays for me. But Evan Mobley, just because he's going to go incredibly low owned here. I know that they've been trying to get him, more touches, more usage. And for the most part, they've been doing that. I think he's going to flash some pretty monster ceilings this season. We haven't really quite seen it, I don't think. He put up 50 against the Bucks. It wouldn't shock me here if he just ends up being like around a 50-point fantasy point guy this season. So at 8,700, I know the matchup's bad, and this is just for large field stuff, but like at 3%, I don't really hate it here. So I think he's somebody to consider. I think Donovan Mitchell as well, especially since he fills that shooting guard spot. So I don't mind Mitchell and Mobley like in very, very small shares of, not getting to either 1 and 3 max. But if I was playing 20 teams tonight or 10, I might put them in like 1, you know. On the other side, Boston, maybe Josh Minott, but I don't even really like that much. I just know that, you know, he is an interesting value piece, but I'm not really getting to any of the guards. I'm not getting to any Jaylen Brown. But it's really just, I would just take one-off shots of like Donovan and Mobley.
Our projection team is projecting 12 Celtics to play, and it's just because it's tough. Like they're giving, you know, Chris Boucher 5. Could he play 15? Sure. Could he play 0? Sure. Luka Garza, 15 minutes. Minot, 22. We're assuming he's going to start, but that seems to be fluid as well. Xavier Tillman, 7 minutes. Again, we saw Hugo Gonzalez start a game. It just seems like it's going to be a rotating cast of nonsense with Boston, and just really, really hard to predict unless something just sort of settles in. But I don't know if that's happening anytime soon, especially with their big situation. So the 3 constants, Brown, White, Pritchard. White's been really bad as far as 3-point percentage. I think it's 25% this season. So he's due for some positive variance there. I do like the idea of kind of a little mini, like especially in single entry, because I think this game's going to be pretty ignored. Mobley or Mitchell ran back with either Brown or White, like something like that. And if you want to go 2-1, you can go 2-1. You know, I was thinking about that earlier in the day, and I don't think this game's going to get played, especially in our streets. So
this game's not going to get played.
Yeah, and like you want to make, you know, ESPN, you get extra long commercials, a little bit more of a breather. Both these teams are on rest. Nobody played yesterday. They're not playing tomorrow. You don't have to worry about Jaylen Brown's hamstring. I just think that I think there's a path for this game to be interesting, and you know who's going to, like, it's going to be this guy or that guy. Like, it's not forgetting the nonsense as far as the bigs for Boston, but you feel pretty confident. You know, if it's not Mitchell, it's going to be Mobley.
Yep.
At least I do. I feel pretty confident it's going to be one of those two that does, you know, has at least a pretty respectable night, and certainly ceilings are there as well. And Boston, one of those 3. And you got to imagine White's going to start making his threes. That's going to happen at some point. And they're going to get in the positive side of 3-point variance soon enough.
Can we maybe we could play Jalen Tyson with no Merrill? Maybe.
Maybe. What do we have him projected for?
Like 19,
25, 24 minutes.
Or 8. Yeah. Oh, so I was looking at fantasy points. 18 fantasy points.
Yeah, I mean he's not a heavy usage guy, obviously.
Donovan Mitchell downgraded to questionable.
Huh? Did he tweet today? Did he tweet out the spider? What does he say?
Well, but I thought he only did that if he was already questionable. So
did he delete his tweet?
I don't know.
What does he say? Like, let's get it. What is his tag? Something like he tweets the same thing on game day all the time.
Yeah, I know.
I can't remember what it is.
Let him know.
Let him know. That's what it is. Yeah, let him know.
Yeah, and he did tweet that 1 hour ago. Let him know.
Oh, okay. You let him know an hour ago? Oh, come on.
You let him know at 4:03 p.m. Eastern.
Okay. So you think something happened in the last hour and a half?
I don't know.
If he doesn't go, DeAndre Hunter would take more shots, I would imagine. Let's see. Yeah, Mobley. There will be bumps for Mobley as well. Okay. Just that's something to keep an eye on, I suppose.
Would it be Craig Porter or Lonzo? Lonzo.
I think it'd be Lonzo. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how many minutes they would let him play. He's played 23 at most this year. 23, 22, 23, and 20 is what I'm seeing. Yeah. Okay. That is interesting. But whatever. But that's a weird midday downgrade after he let us know.
Okay. I thought that was a little bit weird.
Keep an eye on that. Steve's telling me we're not groveling enough for likes. My apologies. Hit the like button. I mean, what is it costing you? And you can, whatever your ads of choice happens to be, if you want to tap it, you want to caress it, whatever it takes to get that thumb going up, we do appreciate that. Let us know. Let us know that you're appreciating the show. And also, Discord channel. Get yourself week free of RGA Premium. Get your name on that wheel. Don't wait for the last second. Don't make life any harder for producer Steve. He's doing all he can to put on a fine show. Get in Discord channel. Get yourself week free of RG Premium. Just hit that avatar. Steve has a post in the live stream chat channel. Hit the avatar. Hit the wheel. We're giving away at least 1 week free of RG Premium. Possibly, maybe 2 weeks. Maybe 2 individual weeks if we can get up to 100 taps in the Discord channel. Or you can just cut out the middleman and just go ahead and buy it yourself. How about that? If you want to try out the tools, we can get a 3-day pass. You're not really sure. I don't want to fully commit. Time the 3-day pass correctly, depending on the sports of your choosing. If you're in the NFL, probably don't do it today. Just saying. But yeah, you can get the NFL DFS tools without a full season commitment. A limited time, you get half off the 3-day NFL pass. This is NFL specific. Access for everything you need to crush the slate, the optimizer, lineup HQ, the lineup HQ tool, player projections, ownership projections, SimLabs, all the bells, all the whistles, all the articles, all the tags, anything you can think of that we have here at RG. Just a few clicks, you get yourself some competitive lineups, less than $10, $9.99. Do check out the link in the description. And if you're looking to get NFL DFS access this season, why not get more bang for your buck with a Combo Pro deal? For a limited time, get your first month of Combo Pro for just $79.99. That's just $5 more than NFL DFS monthly sub. So you're probably into more than one sport if you're watching the basketball show. Why just get NFL a la carte? It's just $5 more to get all the other sports. Tim's talking about hockey. Our hockey team is awesome, led by Tim and Dane. Golf, UFC, LOL. There's still some baseball. Baseball is still happening. Tim, I'll have you know. I know everybody's out there lying and saying, "Oh, I watched all 18 innings of the baseball game the other night. It was spectacular." And you're probably telling you were sleeping for like 17 hours before that game even ended. I watched that walk-off live. I was still up 3 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
I was one of those guys. I was hoping for it to go longer because I wanted to see Miguel Rojas pitch. I love chaos. I wanted to see like the shortstop pitch in the 19th inning. Which probably wouldn't have happened. They said that there was a chance that, but we had a walk-off from Freddie Freeman. You were sleeping, I presume, yes?
I fell asleep in the 10th inning. That's the first time since I was probably a kid that I was mad that I fell asleep for the rest of a baseball game.
Yeah, it was a fun game, and I didn't have any money or really just watching the game and enjoying the games. That was pretty good. I'm rooting for you. Got to root for Toronto, right? You got to root for the underdog, I suppose, but. I don't know if you saw this, but Magic Johnson had some great insight on Twitter. He said that Game 5 is critical. Whoever wins the next game is going to control the series going forward. I don't. That's the insight you can only get from a champion, somebody who's been there before.
That's right.
Is he in on the bit? He's in on the bit, right? He's leaning in. He knows that's a joke, right? Does he know it's a joke?
That sounds like a bit to me.
I think it's a bit, but I'm not sure if it's a bit. I don't know if anybody's ever talked to him about it, but it's hilarious. He's like, man, it's whoever wins this next game really is going to control the series. Oh, you don't say, Magic. He's not wrong, but Okay. It's the Hawks and the Nets. 238.5 is the total. Brooklyn, they are not good at playing basketball. They're 8-point dogs here at home against Atlanta. Who's in and who's out for this one? This is a 7:30 contest on the East Coast. Jalen Johnson officially probable with his ankle. Ricochet is probable as well with his ankle. So Atlanta expected to be healthy. As far as Brooklyn, no Zaire Williams, no Haywood Haysmith. They are out this evening. Yeah, this is one of the tougher ones for me, Tim. I think the expert survey, they ask who's the boldest fade or the things you're afraid to be not being on. I'm kind of, I don't want to say I'm out on Atlanta, but I think I'm on less Atlanta than the field. And why do I not want to pick on a terrible Brooklyn team that, you could say they're tanking. This is just the best they can do because they don't have a lot of good pieces, obviously. But the product they're rolling out there is not good. They have the worst defensive rating in basketball by almost 8 points. 4 games into the season, 131.2, which is terrible. That's really, really terrible. Yeah, I'm curious what your take is as far as Atlanta and Brooklyn. I'm a little bit scared of not having a ton of Atlanta.
They don't seem to be that chalky right now. And actually, my very favorite kind of under 10% projected own GPP play is on the Atlanta side, and that's Jalen Johnson at 8,200. The Nets really struggle in transition D. This is the second best matchup for like versatile forwards. So I think Jalen Johnson is an absolute smash play. He is going to be in my single entry team tonight. I absolutely love him here. This spread is only, I mean, for the Nets, it's only 8.5. I mean, it's a 240 total. It doesn't seem like Atlanta's going to be super, super chalky just because the games later on are going to garner so much more ownership. So I don't think, like, it's fine to fade Atlanta, but I wouldn't fade them worrying that they're going to be like super, super highly owned, because I don't think they're going to be that chalky. So I absolutely love Jalen Johnson tonight. You can always get exposure to Trae Young. I don't think this is the best possible matchup for him, but at 9,100, I certainly wouldn't like full out fade him in like a 20 set or a 150 set. I'm not getting into any in a 3 max because I'm going to be playing Jalen Johnson, but you can always play Trae, and then Okongwu and Nikhil Alexander-Walker in large field stuff. I think they're interesting bench pieces that you can get exposure to here. Really nice game total here. I don't know what I'm going to be doing with the other side of this game. I'm like a big fan of Cam Thomas. I just know that the team that he plays on is absolutely horrible. But Cam Thomas, like, he's going to get quite a few assists this year. He's not just a scorer. So I think Cam Thomas and like Michael Porter Jr. here are super interesting, really, in any GPP set.
Yeah, Cam Thomas is a willing shooter for sure. Yeah, he's a great player to have on your team when you're trying not to win a lot of games, but also going to score some points on a game. He'll score some points, but probably not do it efficiently. Well, you mentioned Okongwu. I didn't think about him because Porzingis being back, he's back to the bench, and I think he's kind of, his price sort of got elevated. I think he needs to get a price decrease for me to consider him again. I think he's a little bit too expensive, at least for my liking. One of these days, Dyson Daniels is going to get like a 6 or 7 stock game. This feels like a spot where he can do it. I don't know how you can necessarily, you can't pinpoint it per se, but it certainly feels like this Brooklyn team is going to have issues with, with the ball and, probably getting intercepted and stolen plenty. Daniels last season, what did the average 3 steals a game? Something historic. It was pretty incredible. I think it's down so far this year, but I expect soon enough those numbers are going to get boosted. I also bet Jalen Johnson over 1.5 steals at like plus 150. I got something like that. So let's hope Jalen Johnson gets a couple steals his way. And anybody else on Brooklyn? I guess you can. Michael Porter is another guy. Like, it's Porter and
yeah. And it's definitely Michael Porter on FanDuel. He's only 6,400 on FanDuel, so he's gonna be pretty popular over there. 32% right now. So yeah, I mean, he's a really strong play on FanDuel though, at 6,400. But I do like him on both sites. Cam Thomas is 66 on FanDuel, so again, pretty good plays on both sites.
Michael Porter's got to miss playing with Joker, right? Like, now he relegated to Brooklyn, and it's got to be just like a different planet. And the shots he was getting, that Joker was helping him get, not quite there. I
mean, he did put up 50 fantasy points against Cleveland.
Yeah,
like 5 days ago, I think. So I mean, he does have a pretty nice ceiling at this price tag.
We took 22 shots that game. Yeah,
I know. I mean, like he's gonna,
taking these shots.
If he stays at this price tag, he's gonna absolutely crush and win people GPPs. It just won't be consistent, right? But he's definitely got a huge ceiling at this price tag.
Yeah, and I don't know how long he's on the team the entire season. Who knows how that? We care about today, obviously, and I don't. Whenever Brooklyn is good, theoretically, I don't know when that's going to be, but I feel pretty confident in saying Michael Porter Jr. is not going to be on that team. Like, he's not like part of the, he's not a part of their future per se.
Right. Yeah.
Just like a bridge to kind of get there, I suppose. Your favorite play in Atlanta, you said, was Johnson, correct?
Yeah, he's one of my favorite GPP plays on the entire slate. Really,
Yeah.
Of the under 10% projected own. There's obviously some guys that are chalky that I like more, but in terms of low owned stuff, I love Jalen Johnson.
Sacramento and Chicago, the Kings back half of a back-to-back, and they're traveling. They are 6-point dogs here in Chicago. Bulls have been great so far this year, despite no Kobe White. We've not seen him play just yet. Not going to play tonight. No Zach Collins as well. As far as the Kings, we did get a midday downgrade for Keon Ellis. Keegan Murray, newly signed Keegan Murray, has not played yet this year. He's got that thumb. We're not going to see him for a bit. I guess Russell Westbrook, kind of out of nowhere, he started last night. And again, trying to figure out what the Kings are doing is a fool's errand because they don't use logic and reason sometimes. So it's just sort of tricky to figure out what the justification is for some of the things they do. But we're anticipating he starts once again. I would imagine that's the case tonight, unless otherwise noted, especially if Keon Ellis doesn't play. Do we like Russell Westbrook chalk on the back half of a back-to-back? I think he had a three-pointer in his first 3 shots last night. Probably not something that's repeatable. Those are things I don't want to chase. But yeah, good for him. And I'm so conflicted because I know Matt doesn't love Westbrook, but I think he's such a fun player, and I like him. But now at this point, pump the brakes a little bit. Not saying he should retire, but anyways, for DFS purposes, how do we feel about Westbrook this evening?
Yeah, for DFS purposes, I mean, 4,500 is just way too cheap. So assuming he starts, I think you just have to play him. He would be 3 out of 3 for me in 3 max. Definitely going to be my single entry. Definitely going to be in my cash game team that I play on DraftKings. So yeah, 4,500. I think I'm just going to eat that chalk. I know it's a little bit scary. I know that it's the year 2025 and we're still playing Russell Westbrook, but I think you got to do it here. I think that that price tag is just too cheap. So I don't mind getting to some shares of Dennis Schroeder at 5,800 just as like a pivot, maybe to to pivot from Westbrook, but I wouldn't get too crazy with that. Right now he's projected for 8%. I wouldn't mind getting to maybe 5%, maybe put him in 1 of 20 or something like that, just to get a little bit different. Outside of those 2 guys, I don't have any interest in the Kings.
The Bulls, the second best defensive rating 3 games into the season. Let's not get too excited. In theory, it's a good matchup for Sabonis. I just don't know if I love him in the back half of a back-to-back with his injury. And, he's been kind of dealing with it. Was it a hamstring, I want to say? Also, Sabonis isn't passing anymore. His assists have taken a hit. The threes aren't really happening. So he's basically a 2-category guy these days. He just seems a little bit too expensive, but I do like centers against Vooch just as a general thought. I just think he's a little bit too expensive. And I'm probably playing Westbrook too. Buzeos on the other side still got a pretty good price. Probably could be a little bit more expensive. Giddey. Oh, you always got a shot at a triple-double with Giddey. He definitely peppers that box score. Trey Jones, not necessarily a triple-double, but he can give you 5, 7, 6, 3, 1. He does a little bit of everything. Even Dosunmu has been playing well of late. We got Red Velvet, Kevin Huerter. I don't know if we got to dig that deep, but didn't he have his revenge game not too long ago? Am I making this up? I feel like this just happened. Yeah. Am I making this up here, Tim? Or yesterday?
I don't think it just happened.
Oh, against Atlanta. Okay, that's right. Yeah, it was a different.
Okay.
I knew we had a revenge game. I don't know if they played the Kings. Okay,
right.
He's very vengeful. He's very angry at many teams throughout the league. That Kevin Huerter, but yeah, I think Vuk has got a pretty good price as well. But Buzeos, dollar for dollar.
Buzeos is definitely points per dollar, the best play on the Bulls. I really do like Trey Jones and GPPs though at 5,800. Giddey's fine, so I think that's okay. And I would assume at 4,700 shooting guard, small forward. projecting around 8% right now. Pretty good fantasy points projection that we have on him right now, currently with 23 fantasy points at 4,700. I like that a ton. He's not going to get steamed. I would be shocked here if the Bulls get steamed. Like, I kind of thought like you. I kind of thought like at first like Atlanta was going to be the team that gets steamed. I think it's going to be the Bulls that get steamed here. So I think Buzelis is going to get steamed. Vucevic maybe. So I would just be kind of aware of that, I think, when building out your portfolio. But I certainly am not going to tell anybody not to get exposure here. I think this is a pretty good spot. They're at home. They have 121 team total. So I do like it here quite a bit.
Okay, this is the game. It's the Pacers. It's the Mavs. 228.5 is the total. Dallas is a 7-point favorite here. The two bigs for Dallas expected to be out. That's Derek Lively the second. He's doubtful. He's got a knee. Gafford also has an ankle, so he's doubtful. Kyrie probably not going to see this year. Kyrie Irving is out. Brandon Williams, I don't know if we're going to see him. We're not going to see him. I think it was a marijuana charge or something like that. He's questionable. Doesn't really matter so much for our purposes. And Anthony Davis officially probable with bilateral Achilles. But it's the Pacers. Obi Toppin, they said at least a month he's gone for. He's got that foot. Nembhard is out with a shoulder. McConnell, Timothy John, he's got a hamstring, so he's not playing basketball tonight. No Bennington Mathurin, he's got a toe, not just any toe. It's the great toe, so he can't play. And Johnny Furphy. So we're talking about 10 bodies. Amongst those 10 bodies, Tim, Mac McClung, off the street. He probably had an apartment or a house, but off the street, signed off the street, Mac McClung. If he dunks, he gets 2 points. They don't give him 50 points if he dunks. Like they're scoring the dunk contest, 2 points. And he'll probably get on the court because they only have 10 guys. We're expecting Ben Shepherd to start alongside Naismith, Pascal Siakam, who's just like, this is the this is the Pulp Fiction, gif, right? Where you got Vincent Vega just kind of looking around. He's all by himself because who these guys I'm playing with? Isaiah Jackson expected to start alongside Jay Huff. Here's a fun question for you, Tim. Isaiah Jackson, we know he's handsy, right? It's a small sample. What would you guess his per 36 fouls is for the season? And I'll tell you how many minutes. I'll tell you how many minutes he's played this season. He's played 35 minutes. So what is his per 36 fouls for this season? Now, 6 would be a lot. Just no.
Yeah. I mean, man, he doesn't even play that much.
No,
I'm looking at his game logs. That's crazy. What is that? What is his fouls per 36?
His fouls per 36 is 10.3.
Yeah.
Like that's got to come down, right? I was just looking at
I would hope that has to go down.
His career is 5.9. He's super handsy, but this year it's been extreme. And I'm just sort of thinking about, because Isaiah Jackson's a good fantasy point minute player. Jay Huff is a good fantasy point minute player. Tony Bradley is a good fantasy point minute player. And I don't really know how the rotations as far as their bigs, but one of those guys probably plays enough minutes to get there. I can't tell you which one it's going to be. And there's a decent chance at least one of those guys is in foul trouble, especially if you hit the guard Anthony Davis. That probably makes life a little bit more difficult as well. But we're starting with the Pacers. How much Pacers is too much Pacers? What has changed since the start of the show conversation for Indiana? How are you handling the Pacers? Of course, in cash, you're probably playing 3 or 4.
You're definitely playing 3 in cash. Right now, our optimal is giving out 4, but I'd be comfortable saying that you're definitely playing 3 in cash. I think there's a debate to be had whether or not to add the 4th, but the way that I'm currently looking at this, and definitely, are you starting off with Pascal Siakam, or are you starting off with kind of like the 3, what I consider like the 3 best value players like Shepherd, Ray J, and Jarris Walker? You know, like
Yeah.
or are you going like I'm going to start with Siakam and then get to two of those three guys, or are you just going to say no Siakam, I'm going to play those three cheap guys? That's kind of where I'm at right now. Like, you know, like I know that Siakam's going to be really, really popular, and he is a good play. But there's guys like Johnson I want to play for the Hawks, Anthony Davis, who's 10-1, who's also only power forward only on DK, that I kind of want to run back here with this game. So I think that those are interesting GPP decisions because I would imagine Siakam's going to be pretty popular tonight.
I'm going to give you a wishy-washy answer. You're asking the right question, but it's just sort of like what the rest of my lineup looks like. Of course, I'd love to get the Pascal Siakam, and if this game is close and it's like high scoring, it's almost definitely because Pascal's having himself a good game. Salary is a thing, and like he's not the best point per dollar play on his team. That's probably either Walker or Ray J. Dennis. I don't know how good Ray J. Dennis is, which might be at some point that might be a problem. You know what I mean? I'm not sure if he's like definitely a guy that would close even if he starts. And if the game gets out of hand, we can do that math as well. And I love doing that when there's like 10 players or less. Like who are the 5 guys that are still sticking around? Because you can't just stop the game. The game's going to finish, right? I assume he would be in the game if the game is like needs mopping. I think, right? I imagine
you would think Ray J is going to be a mopper, right?
I would think so.
Is Tony Bradley a mopper?
Well, that's the thing.
Yeah.
I wouldn't, if I was playing a bunch of lineups, I'd probably limit Jackson, Huff, and Bradley to 1. I don't think I'd play more than one of those 3, but I think one of those 3 can definitely excel and put up like a 35 or something. But again, Isaiah Jackson with his hands, with this, he might get 2 quick ones in the first 4 minutes, and you don't see him again until like 4 minutes in the second quarter, and he gets another one. Or he's actually a pretty good fantasy player when they let him do his thing. But he hasn't had a chance to do it this year because he's just been fouling way too many people. Walker's got some versatility, so I think he's pretty safe as far as his minutes. I don't know if I'm prioritizing Pascal, but I do want to run it back, I think, and I don't like to put this hard, to at least one of Anthony Davis or D'Angelo Russell on the other side. And I guess I can add PJ Washington to that. I'm not prioritizing Flag. I'm not against Flag, but he's my least favorite amongst those 4 for Dallas. But I haven't made the lineup just yet. We'll see. We'll see how it turns out. But I'm pretty sure my main lineup is going to have probably 3 Pacers and possibly 2 Mavericks. But we'll see. That's kind of where I'm at. Are you for sure, or are you still kind of deciding when it comes to like starting with Pascal or not?
I'm leaning not, because there's just other power forwards I want to play here. If I can play those other power forwards and Pascal, I might play him. But right now I'm leaning on not playing him. Other than in cash games, you should be playing him in cash. But in other formats, I'm looking at probably fading him and playing some of these other power forwards that I want to play.
Any news coming in? Let's see if we're missing anything. Oscar Thompson is still questionable. That's not helpful. That weird downgrade for Spider Mitchell. Keep an eye on that. That's a 7:00 game, right? So we should know. Also a primetime game, right? ESPN game. He let us know an hour and a half ago. I guess 2 hours now. That's how time works. But we'll see. We'll keep an eye on that. Typically, that's a bad sign, but yeah, we'll adjust if necessary. Yeah. Anything else as far as the Pacers and the Mavericks that we have to point out here?
I don't think so.
What's going to be the ownership between Davis and Joker? Because I think Joker, especially this is more of a DK thing, the Pacers make it really, really easy to get Joker. It's not hard at all. If you're a cash lineup, are you playing Joker or you're not sure?
No, I think in cash you should play Joker.
Okay.
Just because he's the like clearest path to the top raw point play of the slate, and he's pretty easy to get to. So in cash, I think you have to play Joker, but in GPPs, and of course that's probably the reason why AD's not getting more steam is because Joker's keeping his ownership in check. I would assume. But again, I was still a little bit surprised not to see AD's ownership a little bit higher.
And you can't really, I guess you can, but it's not telling you to play both. Like, yeah, it's hard to play both. You can, Davis and Joker, but
yeah. I mean, I'm actually,
it's an interesting concept, maybe.
At least in optimals, AD is not really popping. I'm going to check Sims really quick because now
I like that. I hope that holds. But we are giving like a 20% projection, I think. Last I saw, this is on DK.
I'm getting to 13% AD in Sims.
That's not a lot.
Not a lot, no.
We're showing 24% projected for Davis. So that's that doesn't look great. That doesn't sim out spectacular. Most popular plays in this slate, by the way, Joker at 40%, Westbrook 40%. This stuff will change, but just understand that's where we're at right now. Shepard 36%, Walker 34%, Dennis 26%, and then Davis at 24%. So yeah, a lot of Pacers and spending up for Joker, and we're assuming Westbrook is falling into a good spot. Yeah, I'm surprised. I mean, Davis hasn't quite had that monster game just yet this year, but he had a tough matchup versus OKC, and he was fine, right? He didn't kill you. He's been in the 50s. He's had a double-double every single game this year, but this seems like a spot where he can, assuming the game is tight enough where he sticks around, I think he can absolutely smash. But you can say the same thing about Joker when we talk about him because he gets an incredible matchup versus the Pelicans. Okay, it is 6 o'clock on the East Coast. There's 2 more games to go. We told y'all we're going to be spinning the wheel. We're going to give away a week free of RG Premium. I don't think. Do we have 100 likes? Do we have 100 likes so we can spin the wheel twice? I'm not sure. Let me know, Steve. Or is it just one spin of the wheel?
Looking like just one.
Well, what are you going to do? Give it a spin. We have no wheel spinning music today. I don't know if you guys can hear me or not, but it's very quiet when there's no music. Shout out to D-Rock 1838.
Oh, D-Rock. Wow. Very nice.
Did you have D-Rock in the pool?
Well, D-Rock's one of our regulars.
I know. Well, that I didn't want to say that because then all of a sudden the tinfoil.
Oh, it's not rigged, Dean. Hang on. We fixed the wheel. It was rigged before. Now
it was rigged. Yeah.
It is not rigged. It is not rigged.
We don't want to say when the rigging stopped, but there's no exact spot. But yeah, Steve will slide in and hook you up. He'll juice you up with RG Premium. If you want scores and odds, you can get scores and odds at as well. Dealer's choice. 2 games to go. Crunch time coming in 10, 15 minutes or so. You got Notorious as well as Beermakersfan. Chief Mineralogist Kevin Roth also holding it down. He'll be getting all your questions answered all the way up to lock, all the way up to 7 o'clock on the East Coast. Okay. Next game up, it is the Blazers. The Blazers and the Jazz, 235.5. That's the total. The Jazz are 3.5-point dogs this game. I was going to say this year, Utah's been a little bit more fun than they have been. They haven't gone in the tank mode, right out the gate. They've been trying. Lauri Markkanen, his back is all of a sudden cured. It's a miracle. And he's dropping 50 burgers. Just incredible stuff. First time this century, I believe, that anybody for the Jazz has scored more than 50 points. As far as the body parts, who's in, who's out, Blazers, Jazz, taking a peek right now. Will Scoot, no Scoot for the Blazers. He's got that hamstring unavailable. Chris Murray is officially questionable. He's ill. He had the fish. And Matisse Thybulle, questionable with his hip. Robert Williams, Time Lord, he's also not playing. He's in the G League apparently. So I guess he's getting into conditioning. As far as the Jazz, Minivan, Gorgie Niang, he's out with a foot. Collier is out with a hamstring. Yusuf Nurkic officially available with his hip. Shibwe is also in the G League. Maybe he's taking on Robert Williams tonight. I don't know. The Jazz and the Blazers. How do we feel about this game? Do we like anything here?
Yeah, speaking of regulars in chat, Butthole Jenkins was in YouTube chat saying how Drew Holiday is their favorite play of the slate. And, he's not my favorite, but he's up there. Drew Holiday has been fantastic starting the season. He's 6,800. This is a really good matchup. So, I mean, I really like that play. I think, he is going to be probably around 15 to 20% owned. He's not going to be like completely contrarian, but I absolutely love him tonight. So I do like Drew Holiday a ton. I think this is a spot where he could do really, really well. So I think we should continue to play him while he's still under 7K. So I think he's very, very strong. I think on the other side of this game, Keontae George is like a run back with Holiday. I think that I really do like that play quite a bit. Lauri Markkanen, he had a really, really strong game, 41 fantasy points against the Kings. He's going to play pretty, big minutes, consistent minutes. So I don't mind him. Walker Kessler, I don't mind him. So there are definitely pieces of this game that I really do like here. And I think that we can play, and I don't think they're going to be too chalky. So just don't forget about this game. And I would get exposure to Holiday like in 3-max stuff. Like I think he's a really great play tonight.
Specific to FanDuel, Sharp is 6'9" on DK. He's 6'2" on FanDuel. He really jumps as a pretty good play. I know the efficiency has not quite been there, but I think he's going to get a lot of shots up. He is coming in pretty popular at 6'2" on FanDuel. This is FanDuel specific, 31%. And another guy that you're getting a discount on FanDuel is Denny Avdia. Denny Avdia is 8'5" on DK, and probably not going to be terribly popular there. Single entry, going to be 5%, if that. On FanDuel, he's 7'8", and we're looking at 23% or so as far as ownership. And Holiday is another guy, 23%. So this game for the Blazers are coming in pretty cheap. Sharp, Avdia, and Holiday all look pretty good. FanDuel specific. Did you mention Keontae George?
I did, as like a run back with Holiday. I really like that.
Good. Yeah, the rolls are pretty good this year. I don't know if I love this Kessler. I don't necessarily want against Klingon. Klingon's a big boy, a lot of size, a lot of girth to get around. I like Kessler. When you take shots as far as tournaments, he's got big variance. Probably not the game I'm going to go there. But if you want to play him, by all means, there's always a path. There's always a route. But otherwise, I got nothing else when it comes to the Blazers and the Jazz. You got anything else here, or shall we scoot along to at least the DK slate, the last game of the DK slate? That's the Pels and Denver.
Yeah, let's scoot.
All right, the Pelicans and Denver, 238.5 is a total. Denver is a monster favorite here, 12-point favorite against New Orleans. New Orleans is winless to start the season. We have, DeJounte Murray, of course, is not going to be playing tonight, not playing anytime soon for New Orleans. Kevon Looney still out. Zion officially questionable. I think there's a good chance he plays. I'm assuming he plays, and if he doesn't, there's not a clear and obvious, which seems weird, but if he doesn't play, Trey Murphy would get a usage bump. He didn't take advantage of the last game. He was terrible last game. Not bitter about it at all. He didn't completely implode my great lineup. But the nonsense of Bay or Queen or Fears, I don't think I'm messing with that anyway. DeAndre Jordan, revenge game? It's a DeAndre.
I can't believe he's still playing professional basketball.
Good for him, man. Good for him.
I know. It's pretty amazing, but I can't believe it.
But I mean, you could think of a player for the last 20 years. It's like who completely does not work for 2025 basketball? What skill set does not work for 2025 basketball? Like DeAndre Jordan is one of those, Andre Drummond's one of those guys. But he just doesn't really work. But he's still, he's still getting contracts. He's still getting paid. And I guess he loves it. Good for him. The Joker, we taking on this Pelicans team, which has no rim protection, despite the fact they have DeAndre Jordan on this team, on this roster. I mentioned earlier in the show, and I don't want to flip out too much when it comes to early returns, 4 games into the season, whatever it was. But the Pelicans played Boston one game too. They've given up 77 rebounds to opponents on average, which is insanity. I was looking at betting Joker over on rebounds, like over 13, and I still might bet it because I think that he can drop like a 20-20-10 kind of game tonight. But nobody's going to stop him. I know that the season's just started. In every single game, he's going to triple-double. Nobody cares. It's just assumed. We just yawn because everybody else is dropping. Austin Reeves is dropping 50. We got Markkanen dropping 50. Several players. SGA, I think, got to 50, if I'm not mistaken. I think he was the first one to break the seal this year. Aaron Gordon, actually, I think, broke. Didn't he drop 50 as well, his teammate? It feels like that's happened a lot so far to start this year. But, yeah, talk about Joker and the priority in cash. And I think one of the big decision points in tournaments is getting away from him in tournaments. And I'm considering it. I'm kind of going back and forth. Your thoughts?
So just the contests that I play in, whether that be single entry 3 or 3 max, and this includes FanDuel and DK, I'm playing him everywhere. I'm not getting away from him. I'm getting to a ton of him in Sims on DraftKings. I mean, you're getting to a ton of him in Sims on FanDuel. So not quite as much on FanDuel, but an absolute ton on DraftKings. There was a question in chat like, can I still play Jokic even if I didn't think this game is going to be a blowout? And the answer is yes, you can. Like he could smash this price tag in 3 full quarters, 3.5 quarters. He is that good. So I'm really not. I'm not gonna worry too much about that whole blowout thing. So it's yeah. I mean, I'm playing this guy. If Zion misses, I think you kind of nailed it. There's not really anybody that I absolutely love here. Maybe Herb Jones at 5,400, Trey Murphy at 74, but really, I think that would be it. And I don't think there are going to be any kind of smash plays. The other plays from Denver, I'm really not getting too much Jamal Murray, but I think he's at least interesting in GPPs. But I'm personally not going to be playing him. But I am getting to him at 23% on FanDuel and not as much on DraftKings, but getting to, I think, around 10% on DraftKings. But I think he's okay in GPP.
I should have mentioned Cam Johnson is questionable for Denver. I'm looking at our if-then for that. I know last game they closed with Cam Johnson was hurt. They didn't close with Christian Brown. They closed with THJ and Peyton Watson. Along with their regulars, Murray, Gordon, and Joker, which is kind of, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily chase the THJ thing or Watson thing, but, extreme tournament stuff, I guess. But if Johnson's out, we're not showing like a monster bump really for anybody, just kind of incremental stuff. I don't know if you have a take on that, but, Joker would just take a little bit more usage probably. Murray would take a little bit more usage. Gordon as well, but nobody really pops. If you want to throw a dart at THJ, it's a little bit better. Watson's a little bit better, but they're also still pretty thin in my estimation.
Johnson's sitting for me. I don't think that does a whole heck of a lot. Like maybe that would boost Jamal Murray like a little bit. Maybe boost Aaron Gordon a little bit, but
nothing tremendous.
Nothing tremendous is going to happen here. Your decision about Jokic should not have anything to do with what Cameron Johnson plays or not.
Tim, I know we have Crunch Time coming in here shortly. They're going to talk the FanDuel stuff the last 2 games. Are you playing FanDuel tonight? Are you in the FanDuel streets?
I am.
Okay. Yes. Do you want to give me a minute or two before they jump on? Wolves, Suns.
Yeah, the big difference on FanDuel, versus DraftKings, we add this Lakers Timberwolves game, we add the Grizzlies Suns game. Austin Reeves just continues to smash, and it's like it's crazy, and I think you just keep playing him. Like it's not, he's 9,300. I think that becomes kind of more of a fair price for him. He is getting a price increase, but still he can still absolutely crush here. So he's definitely like a priority play over on the FanDuel slate. Dante DiVincenzo at 6,500. We continue to have no Anthony Edwards. He's like $1,000, $1,500 more than he was. I think it was yesterday or a couple days ago when he was very, very chalky. But I still think he's I think he's still a viable play.
5-6 on FanDuel.
Oh, he's 5'6". Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah,
So
so
at DK prices,
yeah. So 5'6". I mean, he's still an absolutely amazing play over there. So like DiVincenzo, Austin Reeves, really like core pieces on the FanDuel slate. So that's like a big difference. Going to the Suns game really quick. I do think that Devin Booker is always viable. Grayson Allen, I do love. We've seen Colin Gillespie like last game. He he bailed me out big time on DK because I had a really bad team and somehow I swapped onto him and I ended up being profitable. Nothing crazy, but I ended up being profitable because of him. So, just keep him in mind when you're when you're considering large field stuff here that, I think Colin Gillespie is super interesting.
You don't want Green to be back. Jalen Green is questionable.
Correct.
It's possible he comes back tonight to make his season debut, but Dylan Brooks has already been ruled out. But if Green is in, it doesn't mean you can't play Gillespie, but it's a hit on him and O'Neal, like a pretty significant hit, I think. Again, doesn't mean they're not playable. They both got loose with both Green and Brooks out last game. Also worth noting, Santi Aldama. I guess it's worth noting. He's questionable for Memphis. Just thinking about the poor sucker who bought tickets to Minnesota Lakers like a month and a half ago or so. Like, oh man, I'm gonna get to see Ant-Man and Luka and LeBron. And you're not gonna get to see. You can't even see Maxi Kleber. Like Maxi Kleber's not even available. Like, well, come on. What are we doing? Who are we watch? We're gonna get to watch Rudy Gobert.
I mean, if Jalen Green sits, go back to Royce O'Neal at 4,900. I think that's completely fine. So I think he would end up being a pretty strong value on the FanDuel slate.
Yeah, that Laker Minnesota game is really appealing. I still like Randall revenge game. I like McDaniels. The price is not high enough. He's one of those guys that kind of steps up in the absence of Ant. And we talk about Reeves on the other side. Okay. We should have crunch time coming in here momentarily. Give me your favorites, your favorite play, your favorite stack. I don't want to say plums per se. That's typically for NFL Showdown, but whatever your Roscoe play of the day. I don't know what you want to call it. We have officially coined it. Have you copywritten it? But where are we? Where's our favorite play this evening?
I'm gonna go Jalen Johnson. I mentioned him early in the show. He's my favorite contrarian, likely under 10% projected owned. Play today, 8,200 DK. I think he goes for 55 plus fantasy points.
All right, let's do it. Let's see. Must we transition to crunch time? We have Kevin Roth. We have Notorious. We have Beer. It's crunch time right now. What up, Kevin Roth? Happy Wednesday. How are things?
Things are good. Just getting pumpkin carving going here, gearing up. You can't do it too early because it'll rot. This ain't Maine like Tim over there. So doing a little pumpkin carving and just get gearing up for the big holiday.
You got a jack-o'-lantern? How creative can you be? You got kind of your skill set?
I don't know. I carried the pumpkins. I placed them down and I said, I'm going to get on my show, have fun, wife and kids. So
okay.
We'll see how it looks when we get out there.
And will you be, we may have discussed this. Are you answering the door? Are you going out with the kids? What do? You answer the door, you stay home, you just throw out the bucket and say, have at it, take 3 or 4?
I leave the bucket, go out with the kids, but I got young kids, so we're out and back in while it's still going on,
Yeah. All right, fair enough. No, you have is there a certain rule? Are you a bucket guy? Do you stay in? Do you answer the door? You turn off the lights, pretend you're not home? Do you wander out? What's the rules here?
Yeah, I usually like handing out candy. I think it's a lot of fun. But we got a new baby, and then we're gonna go over to my girlfriend's sister's house. It's like 40 minutes away, so we'll do the bucket out front, and then just go around their neighborhood a little bit.
Beer, is your kids still young enough to have a little Halloween fun?
I mean, they're teenagers, so that they're still going out, and there's still going to be a dad tax. I have one that doesn't like chocolate, so I collect all that from her, and one doesn't like Skittles, so I get me a nice little pile. So I used to do the same, go out with the kids. Now they're old, they go out on their own. So weather permitting, Mr. Roth, we'll put a bonfire out in the driveway and have some neighbors over and have a few cold ones and hand out some candy.
That sounds phenomenal.
Does sound pretty amazing.
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome.
Tim's definitely turned the lights out. Tim is definitely, he has not been getting bothered.
In our new house, there's no trick-or-treaters.
Yeah.
We are in the woods. I don't even have to worry about it.
You're off the grid, Tim.
We're off the grid. That's right.
Speaking of off the grid, Grinders Live off the grid because we're going to leave you to it. We have crunch time for the next 43 minutes or so. Do hit that like button. Do subscribe. Do turn on those notifications. Do all those things. Do not go anywhere. Roth, Beer, Noto, they got you covered. Roth, take it away.
We do indeed. Welcome to it, ladies and gents. Same idea, but we're seamlessly transitioning into crunch time. You know it. You love it because it's two of the sharpest minds in the industry. Derek Farnsworth, a.k.a. Noto. You know him as Noto. I've never called him Derek. He's just Noto, and he's here to help us out. What up, Noto?
Say, who are you? That name doesn't ring a bell.
Literally, if someone told me your name and they're like, oh, you're friends with Derek Farnsworth, right? I'd be like, I have no idea who the hell that is. But I saw it there in the little label and thought I'd give it a go.
Bad marketing on my part.
Yeah, didn't like it. Felt odd. I'm sticking with Noto. We got Beer in the house as well. Chris Prince, I think. I don't know. I might be making that up.
I don't know who that is. So
yeah. It's Beer. It's Noto and Beer. They're my guys. They're the OGs. We've been at it for combined at RotoGrinders almost 40 years, I think, between the three of us. And we're going to win some GPPs. That's what we're here to do, and we're here to help you win some GPPs as well. Beer, how you doing, man?
I'm good. So we talked Halloween. That's always an exciting time. Basketball heating up. We're starting to get some stats to, go off of and getting a little sample size and seeing more of the rotations. And tonight's slate, very interesting. I mean, obviously Indiana is down a ton of bodies. So that's an interesting, how many Pacers is too many Pacers. Other injuries we're still kind of waiting on. Donovan Mitchell now popping up on the injury report. And then we have the two different slates again. So DraftKings, you have some of the games. FanDuel, you have all of the games.
Okay. And because of that, we will be splitting it up. We're going FanDuel first. We'll work our way down position by position. Then we'll kick it to DraftKings. And then we're going to answer all your questions as well. And all that we ask in return is that you hit the thumbs up. Brent says, hit the tip jar, guys. Yeah, but the tip jar in this case is just the thumbs up. That's all you have to do. Just like, subscribe. Make sure that we're keeping the show free to the masses. That's the goal. Noto, I'm going to let you kind of dig in on leadoff. You can either give me a general thought on this slate, or you can just dive right into FanDuel point guard.
Yeah, Beer mentioned, the Pacers, so many good plays there with all their injuries. So we'll talk about that. How many is too many? I think on DraftKings, you can play a bunch. On FanDuel, it's a little bit tougher to do. And on FanDuel, much different slate. Those 2 late games, very appealing. You got Reeves and John Morant, a couple other guys in those late games that really project well. So, and then what is with the NBA? We got some 6:30 Eastern time games, and then last night we had an 11 p.m. Eastern time game. Are they trying to be like the NFL now?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I'm not a fan. Bring it back to just 7 Eastern should be like uniform start time. The first game should always be then, no later than 10. Beer, are you against this or are you for it?
I don't like the super late games. I mean, if I was on the West Coast, sure, I don't mind it. But us East Coaster, I mean, I tried, Roth, to stay up and watch that baseball game the other night, and I was like, all right, I got to tap out here. So, not a fan. I love the Monday Night Football, and it's 2 games that are close together, not 7 p.m., 10 p.m. So it's just the old man in me, getting older and getting a little grouchier and don't want to stay up that damn late.
I get you. And it depends the sport with overtime. Like basketball overtimes, I feel like rarely go into double and triple OT. So if it's basketball overtime, I'm in. But if it's hockey overtime, that I feel like those can linger. I'm out on that. Baseball can linger in the postseason. I mean, if it's getting after midnight and we're in overtime, I'm probably out. Noto, let's dive into what we're doing here. I don't know. Maybe we'll get an OT game and rack some things up. But let's talk about the slate. FanDuel, point guard, what do you like?
Yeah, so different than it is on DraftKings because you can't play Ja Morant. His usage has been up now that Desmond Bane's no longer on the team. Nice matchup against Phoenix. They're basically bottom 5 in every defensive metric so far this season. So really like the spot for him. 8.3K is really nice. Russell Westbrook, if he starts again, he got the first start of the season last night, played 30 minutes, played pretty well. Nice matchup against the Bulls. And then anytime we get a cheap point guard that we're expecting to play big minutes, I'm on board. So Ben Shepherd, look like you're getting him a lot lower owned on FanDuel than on DraftKings. We have him at 10% right now. 4,500. I know he doesn't project as well as some of the other options, but I mean, he's averaging 25 fantasy points per game this season, and that's with all those other guys active. So I'm on Ben Shepherd. I like Ja Morant. I like Westbrook. One of my favorite tournament plays is Josh Giddey. The Bulls have one of the highest team totals on the board. They're playing at home, good matchup against the Kings, and he can just do a little bit of everything. So with Kobe White still out, I think one of my favorite guys. And then large field, Cooper Flagg, he's going to have a big game eventually. This is probably the lowest ownership that we've had all season. So I think a decent spot for him too.
He's been playing bad. I keep going back to the well. I'm like, with that thinking, like, oh, he'll have a big game soon, and I want to get on that. And it has not served me well thus far, but maybe today's the day. Beer, point guard, FanDuel, what do you like?
Yeah, I really like Ja Morant. He's going to come with a lot of ownership here on FanDuel. It's, I'm going to say it's easy, but it's pretty easy to put together a lineup you like. We have this Indiana value. There's some other guys that I think are underpriced. So he stands out as a top option. I really like Trae Young as a pivot off of him, probably half owned. Obviously a great environment against Brooklyn, who does not play any defense. So those two guys in the high end certainly stand out, but there's a lot of guys in the mid-range I think are very playable tonight. Drew Holiday's been playing well, gets a good spot tonight against Utah. Other side of that game, Keontae George, really playing good basketball right now. So that's a game you can target. Two bad teams, close spread, 235.5 point total in that one. I like Shepherd, but I'm more Ray J. Dennis, and I don't know if it's because of the name. I've never quite seen a name like Ray J. Dennis, but he's very interesting. Now the projections have kind of dropped throughout the day on him, but he's going to have way less ownership. So I think you can pull off a lineup with Dennis and Shepherd in it if you want to save at point guard. If not, again, guys like George, Holiday, Shaedon Sharpe rates out really well, and I like the Russell Westbrook call as well. So one more name, D'Angelo Russell. I don't know if the Cooper Flagg point guard experiment is over yet, or if they're just going to hand the keys over to Russell, but he looks like a solid option tonight as well.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. Let's go to shooting guard, Beer.
It's hard for me right now to not play Austin Reeves, and I know the ownership is going to be there, and this is shooting guard, small forward, so he'll carry over to both, but just having to do everything. You take Luka and LeBron off a team, you look at the rest of that team, there's just not a lot there. So Austin Reeves is one that I don't care what the ownership is, and even right now I don't care what the price is. I mean, his projections are up there with some of the expensive names on the slate. So he really stands out as a guy I want a lot of exposure to tonight. Cam Thomas, our boy, is in another good spot here. Coming off a rough game, we'll give him a pass. That's Houston. Very good defense. Now he gets Atlanta tonight. I think this could be a higher scoring game. He pops up in almost every lineup I built on SimLabs, no matter how I change the settings, what projections I'm using, he pops in a ton of different lineups. So figured he'd be a little bit higher owned, but we are getting that discount with that bad game he's coming off of. So he's in play tonight. I mentioned Keontae George. You can slide him over here. Ben Shepherd is usable here. And the Boston guys are interesting as well. Peyton Pritchard, Derek White. Pritchard a little bit cheaper. Both guys showing pretty low ownership tonight. So not my favorite position. That's why I lock in Reeves, usually Thomas, and move on. But Austin Reeves is a guy I want in a ton of my lineups tonight.
Yeah, I'm with you on the Cam Thomas, although last time I said that, he had the worst game ever. But he seems in a great – I love that price for him, and we know he's got the upside for sure. Noto, what are you doing at shooting guard?
Although the last time us three were on the show, you almost won 200K,
That is true. Yeah. So maybe we'll run that back.
Yeah, I agree with Beer. I think it's just Austin Reeves. If you're playing, anything small field, cash games, even large field stuff, it's hard to get away from Reeves. And the usage has been 37 and 38% the last two games. Minnesota's defense isn't what it was last year. They're below league average in most metrics. So it's a good spot for him too. Don't mind DiVincenzo, with Anthony Edwards out. He's been playing a little bit more, a little bit higher usage rate. pretty much agree on all the other guys. I do like Giddey again. And then one guy that I've been playing a ton of, Devin Booker, finally had a good game the other night. Like if he was this price last year when Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal were out, we'd all want to play him in this matchup against Memphis. Both these defenses aren't very good. Memphis number 2 in pace. So I like Booker a lot. Don't think a lot of people are going to play him. And then, yeah, again, you can play Shepherd here. Cooper Flag and Cam Thomas. Yeah, I don't know what to do. I never get this guy right. The last time I played him was last week on this show when we were all on together. So, but it's such a good spot against Atlanta, coming off a bad game, but he had 2 pretty big games before that.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. Let's kick it to small forward, Noto.
If you're not using Reeves at shooting guard, you should probably use him as small forward. We only have him at 33% right now. If that's the case, I think great play there. Michael Porter, similar boat as Cam Thomas. I just never seem to get him right. So you can play them together. You can play them separately. If you do play them together, I would probably bring it back with the Trae Young, something like that, just to kind of load up on that game in hopes it shoots out. I like Avdia against the Jazz. I think he's interesting. Buzelis is a guy that I've been playing a bunch so far this season. I really think he's in for a big year. He hasn't quite had a ceiling game, but I do like that spot for Chicago at home against Sacramento. And then, yeah, if you want to go cheap, you can go with Laravia. He's been playing minutes in the 30s. It's pretty much it for me. It's small forward.
Yeah. Beer, your thoughts at small forward?
Austin Reeves, which we've already discussed, so we can move on. Michael Porter is another one that's really popping in a lot of lineups that I'm getting. Cam Thomas and Michael Porter. I feel better about Thomas, so I'll have some Porter, but Michael Porter Jr. at 35-40% owned. Generally not a ride I want to take. So I'll have some, but I do like targeting that game. So I think Jalen Johnson could be forgotten in that one, a little bit more expensive, kind of mixed in with a lot of guys that are going to have ownership. So he's interesting. I love the Avdia call. I think he's in a great spot tonight against Utah. Jaden McDaniels played well the other night without Edwards. So there's obviously a lot of usage to go around there. And then we just got the news Jalen Green is out. So Phoenix down some bodies. Royce O'Neal played like a big boy the other night. So not quite expecting that kind of performance again, but shows you he has that kind of ceiling. So I think this makes him one of the better value plays on tonight's slate. Small forward or power forward eligible tonight on Royce O'Neal.
Yeah. All right. Let's get into the big ones here. We get to start with 4, and then we'll work our way into center.
All right, a lot of carryover here. Porters, Avdias, names like that are small forward, power forward eligible. So give you some different names. Jarace Walker, I think, is a great option from Indiana. I'm surprised these Indiana guys don't have more ownership, and I'll throw Pascal Siakam in here as well. And I get you got to deal with Anthony Davis. They're going to focus on him, but this entire offense is going to run through Pascal Siakam. So both of those guys, high end, low end, Siakam and Walker, I think are great plays tonight. We mentioned Jaden McDaniels, can slide him in here, really like him. I think Noto mentioned Buzelis. He's a kid I'm very high on, so he's very playable tonight. You can use Anthony Davis in this spot as well, who I love. If you're going to stack up Indiana, use a couple pieces there. Anthony Davis should feast on this team. I mean, they're down bodies. Sure, they have some bigs, but, they have guys that rack up fouls very quickly. Isaiah Jackson, I'm talking to you. So, I think this could be a spot. We haven't seen the big blow-up game on Anthony Davis. I mean, he's had 4 double-doubles in a row, putting up numbers. I'm talking to 60, 65, 70. I think we could get that tonight. And I know the blowout's a concern. It's a 6.5, 7-point spread. I think Indiana can keep this close, and I think AD has a monster game tonight.
All right. Noto, your thoughts at power forward?
Yeah, I love the AD call. If you're playing 3 to 4 Pacers guys, makes sense to play AD too. If that game stays competitive, which is what you're going to want. If you're going to be loading up on Indiana, then you probably want somebody from Dallas. But yeah, Indiana. I mean, they're down Toppin, Halliburton, Mathurin, Nembhard, and McConnell, and they still have a team total of 109 points. So I'm loading up on Jarace Walker. I like Pascal Siakam. I like the Minnesota guys on FanDuel too. You got Julius Randle with no Anthony Edwards, high usage right there. Jaden McDaniels coming off of a really nice game against Denver. He had 38 fantasy points. He can kind of do a little bit of everything. And then I don't hate PJ Washington. I'm probably not going to be forcing him into lineups, but again, Dallas is down so many bigs and playing that shorthanded Indy team at home. And I agree with Beer. I think if MPJ is going to be 35%, take your chances with the fade because he's just likely to get 15 as he is 45.
Yeah. Did just get some news from our guy Mean Dean in the chat. Says Asar Thompson is in. I'm not sure what we had him labeled as, but he is officially playable. Noto, what do you got at center?
All right, looks like Karis LeVert's playing too. Jokic, if you can spend up, which I probably won't be able to on FanDuel because I do like a lot of the other spends, especially at point guard and shooting guard. So I'm probably not going to get up to Jokic, which sucks because I don't really love anyone else at center.
Yeah.
So maybe I go down to Anthony Davis. Other than that, I mean, DeAndre Ayton's like a high floor guy. He's had 33 and 47 the last couple games. Tony Bradley, I think he's more of an option on DraftKings, which we'll talk about, but we haven't projected for 20 minutes at a good price point. Hopefully Beer has a stronger take at center than I do.
Don't
Beer?
count on me here. Center's definitely pretty ugly. So, Jokic is not easy to fit over here, but the Indiana value certainly helps. So where I can make him work, I'm making him work. If not, I'm saving. I like Duren. His ownership looks like it could be pretty high in that mid-range. So a couple pivots off of him. I think Okongwu is still in play, even with Porzingis back. So he's a little bit more expensive. And I like both sides of this Portland in Utah game. Two guys that can dominate on the glass, Donovan Clingan and I forget the other guy's name. Who's the Walker Kessler. So I think both of them are in play. Both have put some big games on the board. Shouldn't see a ton of ownership here. I think Evan Mobley is a solid option. Boston's just not the same team anymore. So that's pretty much it. It's Jokic if I can fit him. Hit this mid-range. If not, with guys like Duren, Okongwu, Clingan, or Kessler is the main plan. And then Jarace Walker, you can slide him in here if you can't find the savings elsewhere.
Okay. Very good. Want to kick it over to DraftKings. We still have plenty of time, 26-ish minutes until lock. And I want to make sure you're getting the best deal in the industry. It's Combo Pro. Why just get NFL or just get NBA when you can get it all? More bang for your buck. Combo Pro for limited time. Your first month of Combo Pro is $79.99, which is only $5 more than if you're just doing, let's say, NFL DFS monthly subscription. So we've got some great value going on. Get all the sports for the price of one. NFL, MLB, which that's about over. NBA, college football, PGA, MMA, video games, whatever the hell that's happening. We got everything you want. Combo package. Make sure you are taking advantage of that deal. Let's kick it to DK. Beer, I think you let us off on FanDuel. So Noto, start us off with point guard on DK.
Yeah, before we do that, I just had a question for Beer. So 3 of my favorite plays from Indiana are all coming off the bench, or at least projected to. Like, how many bench guys can we play? Because usually when a bunch of stars are out, I'm fine playing 4 or 5 guys from a team. But usually they're starting. Like, can we trust these bench guys to see huge minutes?
I think so. I think there's enough minutes to go. Now, 3 bench guys, might be a lot in one lineup, mixing and matching them in a pool of lineup, sure. But I think there's enough to go. I mean, look at all of the usage that's gone. I mean, it's just absolutely incredible, especially offensively. Mathurin, an absolutely big blow for them, already missing Halliburton. So I'm going to be mixing and matching a lot of these guys. I think the minutes will be there.
I'm hoping Walker or Dennis ends up starting. And it was funny. I was showing Ray J's name to my girlfriend today, and she's like, is it Ray J or Rage? And it would be cool if it was Rage.
It would be cool.
With the capital J.
Either way is cool. I mean, Ray J or
yeah.
Rage. You really can't go wrong there.
I like
Not
it.
wrong.
All right. Sorry.
Yeah, no.
Go
Point
ahead,
guard,
Rob.
what do we got?
Okay. Let me pull it up. So, yeah, a lot of the similar names over here. We don't have John Morant, but I do like Josh Giddey and Trae Young if you're spending up. Both in good spots, both in good matchups. My favorite values, Russell Westbrook, who, again, under 5K. If he's starting again, played 30 minutes last night, I think he easily hits that. Salary-based expectation, you have Ray J. Dennis at 38. I like him over here a little bit more than I do on FanDuel. I think he's 37 or 47 over there. And then Jamal Murray. I mean, this dude's had a huge usage rate this season. It's up to 30%. He's scored 50, 45, and 53 fantasy points his last 3 games. His usage rate is 8% higher than Jokic's, which kind of surprised me a little bit. Talked about Cooper Flag. I did like the Drew Holiday call that Beer mentioned. He's a completely different player on Portland than he was on Boston. He's more involved in the offense, playing more on ball instead of off ball. So I like him quite a bit as a tournament play. But yeah, I think I'm probably just going Westbrook and then spending up on the other spot.
Yeah. Okay. Beer, your thoughts a point on DraftKings?
I think Dennis and Westbrook are going to see a ton of ownership over here. I mean, you need the value a little bit more over here. So Dennis, we don't show a ton of ownership on FanDuel. He's a better play over here. Cash games, I would play him. Tournaments, he's trending 35% owned. I'll have some, but probably be under the field on him over here at that ownership. So same with Westbrook. They're both great values, but they're going to carry a big ownership. People want to spend up on the Jokic's, the Reeves, and this is the way that they can do it. So I love the Jamal Murray call. I think he's been playing phenomenal. He's always going to be under the shadow of Jokic, so he doesn't show much ownership tonight. Trey Jones, I didn't mention on FanDuel, but he really feels underpriced right now. I mean, he's playing a big role. He's contributing across the entire stat sheet. 8 assists seems like a lock for him on a nightly basis. So as long as Kobe White's out, I just don't think his price has really gone up high enough. So I like him on both sites. Didn't mention him on FanDuel, but playable over there as well. Keontae George, again, playable on both sites for me. Drew Holiday, a little bit more expensive over here, but still in play. And Trae Young, I mentioned on FanDuel. I like him over here as well. High total game, 2 bad defenses, and no one's really going to have him. So I think you can avoid the cheap point guards in tournaments and get yourself a little bit different, whether it's spending on Young or going down to guys like Trey Jones or Keontae George.
Yeah. All right. Let's go to shooting guard, Beer.
D'Angelo Russell stands out over here, 5,300, good price. You can use him, point guard or shooting guard, but I think he's a good option over here. Ben Shepherd, 4,200, again, is going to come with some ownership, but he's a solid play. Our boy Cam Thomas in play here as well. 6,800, so that's 500 less than his last game, and down 800 from opening night. So it's a good buy low. It's a bigger reaction than I expected from DraftKings on his price. One bad game knocks him down $500, and now he's facing Atlanta, which is a much better matchup. So he remains one of my favorites over here as well. There's value here. Guys like Desanmu is in play. I've been playing well for Chicago. Nickeil Alexander-Walker is still an option. Peyton Pritchard, Shaden Sharp. I think there's a lot of plays at this position. So just know the Indiana guys are going to be a little bit higher owned here on DraftKings tonight. So just build smartly with that in mind if you don't want to eat into a ton of ownership.
Okay. Noto, shooting guard.
Yeah, I'm playing Ben Shepherd. Probably that's it. Cam Thomas, whether I play him or not, I know it's going to be the wrong decision. So,
well, you let me know if you're playing him or not, because I got a lot of Cam Thomas tonight.
I don't know what I'm going to do just yet. So yeah, hit me up if you want the right call on or the wrong call on Cam Thomas. But for tournaments, yeah, Keontae George is cool. I don't know. I don't really just love any of these cheap guys down here. D'Angelo Russell, I just can't do it. Guy that can get you 8 to 40. So if you're building multiple lineups, I get it, but I'm a one lineup type of guy, so I don't play a lot of D'Angelo Russell. And Mike B in the chat, we're working on it. We're going to get there. He's talking about getting a ring.
Yeah. Is he your dad? What's going on? Come on, Mike. Come on now.
My grandma, probably.
Yeah. All right. Small forward, Noto. What are we doing over here?
All right. Once again, you can play Ben Shepherd, who I like quite a bit. Trace Walker. I think I'm probably just going to take the cheapy guys here. The one indie guy that I think is going to get overlooked is Nesmith. And I mean, I don't know. He's like the most proven player of any of the starters outside of Siakam. So I think he could be interesting in tournaments. Najee Marshall with all the guys missing from Dallas. I don't think anybody's going to play him at 4K. PJ Washington, again, if you want to take a safer guy at 6K, you can play him. And that's pretty much it for me. I'm still off of all the Orlando guys. With Bane there, I don't want to play any of them. That's it for me.
Yeah. Hoosiers Hang Banner says every team should have Aaron Nesmith. Does he have a ceiling, Beer? Even in this spot? That's my
what I worry about.
He's just a dude who does what he does regardless of who's out in front of him. he just kind of settles in and doesn't ever take over. That's my worry with him.
He's your classic cash game play. He's going to get me my 5X that I'm looking for. Sometimes he'll pop off for a little bit more, but I like Noto's point in that everyone's going to jam in the values in Siakam, and this could be an ideal spot for him to have. He did last game. He took 17 shots, which was a lot more aggressive than he normally is. So there could be some upside there. Again, I think this game stays close. So these guys are viable. So I think he is playable in all formats. PJ Washington, I really like over here. Noto mentioned both of those. Shepard and Walker are both small forward eligible over here, both going to be 35-40% owned likely. So again, I want some exposure to them. You have to mix in some lower owned plays. So Nickeil Alexander-Walker under 10%, Dosunmu is under 10%. Lauri Markkanen, a guy I really like tonight, huge ceiling in this spot against Portland. He's a little bit more expensive, but you can kind of live in this mid-range, and when everyone's going to be going, stars and scrubs, which I'm going to be doing as well, building that fair and balanced lineup with the 6-7K guys will make you different in your tournaments tonight.
Got a question from Alex. Any love for the Bone Dog? I have no idea who the Bone Dog is, and I'm only asking this to figure it out. Do we know who that is?
I
have no idea.
It was Dean. Was it Dean?
Oh,
Sabonis.
It's
okay.
Sabonis. All right. There. I was like, what? Who on earth is the Bone? I like Dean as the Dean's nickname going forth shall be the Bone Dog. No, actually, I hate it. Power forward. Beer, what are we doing?
So waiting on Zion news. I don't know if anything's come across here. I haven't seen anything, but I think he would be a great play tonight. Big game against Denver. Not going to have any ownership. I mentioned Jalen Johnson. Shouldn't see much ownership tonight. That same story over here. Porter, you're getting a little less owned here on DraftKings tonight, so I kind of prefer him here at 5,600 or 6,600. Buzelis at 56 is a great play. And Siakam, a guy I'm going to be using on both sites tonight. I don't think our projection's high enough on Pascal Siakam tonight.
Yeah. Okay. Noto, your thoughts of power forward?
Yeah, I like Siakam and AD. I think it's a good position to spend up on. And Zion, if he ends up being out, you can maybe look at Sadiq Bey or Derek Queen. One of those would probably end up in the starting lineup. They're both pretty cheap, and everyone's going to have a bunch of locked players by the time we get that news, I would guess. So they could be interesting tournament plays if you're ready to late swap. Walker's here, Buzelis is here, Avdia is here. But I think for my single lineup, probably going to be Siakam and or Davis.
Okay. I want to go to center. First, let me give the shout out from Frederick in the chat. He says, hey, shout out to Beer. Last Friday, I hit a top 10 for the first time ever in a large field DK GPP due to his expertise.
Cheers, my man. Love to hear it. Congrats.
He actually said,
here's what Frederick needs to do and go out and buy the full-size candy bars for the kids for Halloween.
Oh,
that's how you spread the wealth a little bit. Take care.
You got to give back, man. You got to give back.
Absolutely.
I did that last year. Nobody showed up. I had so many king-size candy bars.
That's brutal. And now you're just sitting here in your house.
Yeah, they're staring at you.
Yeah,
right. He actually said shout out to Beers. So at first I thought he just got drunk and made a lineup, but then I made the connection.
Maybe he did, and he's not giving me a shout out. Either way, congrats, Frederick.
Both. The last time I got drunk and made a lineup on Monday, I accidentally made it for the wrong day. So hey, who knows what'll happen. Noto, what are we doing are we at center yet?
Yeah, love Walker Kessler, 6,600 over here. Nice discount compared to FanDuel. He's been awesome on a per minute basis. Played 35 minutes the last game. So we only haven't projected for 30, but it was nice to see him get above that 30-minute floor. We know the Jazz like to spread out their minutes. So I like him as 66. I like Tony Bradley. I don't think he's going to start, but still should see 20-plus minutes off the bench. And then, probably not playing any Bone Dog in a back-to-back. Vucevic is fine, but he's kind of similar to Naismith in that I just don't know what his ceiling is. He seems to have a lot of like 35 to 45 fantasy point games. And I don't think you need to go too crazy at center, but I do like Okongwu. I think he could be interesting against the Nets.
Yeah. Okay. Beer, your thoughts at center?
Yeah, Kongu is very, he's probably a little expensive with Porzingis back over here at 6,800. So you should see 1-2% on him. Duran, a little bit more expensive here. That comes with a lot lower ownership at 6,900. So he's interesting. The Bone Dog is interesting. Now I'm gonna roll with this nickname here. So good spot against Chicago. I like Vooch on the other side as well. I think both of them can have good games, but they're both in play. And I like the Kessler call. I mentioned him in FanDuel. I think Klingon's in play here as well. And then Tony Bradley at 3,500. Jokic, obviously, if you can fit the 11.5, you make it work. But I think saving in this 8K range with Vooch, with Sabonis, guys like that, Klingon and Kessler, if you want to get a little cheaper, a lot of ways you can go at center tonight if you can't find a way to get to Jokic.
Okay. Good stuff, guys. Want to make sure that we answer a whole lot of questions. We still have 12 minutes until lock. And I'm seeing some good questions in the YouTube chat. Make sure you hit the thumbs up if you are watching on YouTube or on Twitter or wherever else you're seeing this feed. And hit the subscribe as well while you're at it. Walker says, Noto, why no mention of Javon Small? He's projecting well for me.
Javon Small.
Yeah. Beer, are you playing Javon Small?
I am not playing Javon Small.
Is that a real person?
We don't have a guy in our projections by that name.
That's I don't,
did I read a name that's supposed to be?
You must have.
Is this like, is this like Mike Hunt or something? Like what?
Who got you with that one?
I don't even get it. Joe Van Small. I don't even understand what I think I'm saying. All right, we don't know who that is. I might be saying something.
He's a backup for Memphis.
Oh, he's a real person. Oh, all right. Javon. All right, there you go. It's not Jovan, it's Javon. That's my bad. I thought I figured
he's not in our projections, so I don't think he should project well.
All right. So there's your answer, is that for us, he is not projected. But to be clear, it might just be FanDuel.
Yeah.
Does that change things?
Yeah, that's a FanDuel play.
Yeah.
I did not land on him.
Okay. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
I'm glad I wasn't being pranked with a fake name, mostly. I love this question. I don't know how deep you guys are in the kind of lineup HQ streets, but Joey says, when you set ownership for lineup HQ for GPP and build rules, what do you like to set your max ownership at? Are either of you the right person for this question?
So I'd mess around with, I use SimLabs a lot more. I still use lineup HQ. So one way I would do it is run all my lineups and then filter it by the lowest owned of that group of lineups you made. So say that number was 150. See if your projection is close on that to the highest projected lineup, and then set it somewhere in that range. So I hope that makes sense.
Sure. I think so. Yeah. Yeah. I don't think there has to be like a hard and fast rule of percentages. Each
there shouldn't be. I like to compare again. So say I run 100 lineups. The lowest lineup ownership wise is say 140.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'll run another set in that 140-ish range and see what it looks like. If your projections are way off of what your other lineups are, sometimes saving that ownership doesn't make sense. So if anyone has any questions on it, feel free to reach out.
And I feel like you can play chalky guys as long as you've got the 1 or 2 lineup differentiators. As long as you've got that dude who's coming in 2% owned,
right?
Then
and that's all it can take sometimes. Like people are so afraid of chalk. I can't play this guy because he's highly owned. A lot of times they're great plays. That's why they're chalk.
Yeah. Let's see. A few questions coming in. Noto, this one from our guy D-Rock, DKGPP, Vooch, and Ayo, or Kessler and Thomas.
Let's go Kessler and Thomas, who is in my lineup right now, Beer.
There we go.
I got to make some big time adjustments now.
I got to take him out.
Yo, global swap.
Yep. I'll work on it here while we're answering questions.
Beer Razzle Dazzle says, best DK cash play on Indiana. This is a good question because there's a lot of options.
Best cash play to me is still Pascal Siakam. If you're talking about the value guys, I like Ray J. Dennis the best tonight.
Okay, great. Beer FanDuel GPP, the lowest price center It's going to give me a guaranteed 50 FanDuel points. Thank you.
Guaranteed.
So we need a cheapie
Lowest
who's
price.
guaranteed to give him 50.
Yeah, Jokic.
Yeah, right.
I'll go to the mid range, and I love the upside of Walker Kessler. So I don't know if he's cheap enough for you. I mean, he's 7,500. So if you need it cheaper than that, good luck, I guess. Klingon or Duran are probably your best shots at that kind of number on the cheap. But I think Kessler's nice upside even at that price.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Scrolling down. Jim says, Noto, thoughts on Bruce Brown, DKGPP?
I don't know. Don't need him on the slate, I don't think. But he's always the guy who can get you 30.
Yeah. Olu says, is Siakam a good play, or is there too much blowout risk? We're on board, right?
I don't of course there's blowout risk, that this team could come out and look atrocious, but the spread it was 6.5 when I looked earlier. What are we sitting at now? Yeah, still 6.5. I mean, if it's 12.5, I'm worried about it, but 6.5, and Dallas has not been world beaters, so it's not like they're going to come out. They could, sure, but I'm not lowering anything. I think it's a competitive game.
Yeah, 3 other games with higher spreads than that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. CW says Minot or Hardaway? Noto?
I don't know. Minot is starting, and he played 28 minutes. I think he had 32 fantasy points the other night, so I guess I would lean that way.
Okay, great. Beer, is Bradley okay on FanDuel at 4K? Also on FanDuel, do you prefer Morant or Murray?
I prefer Morant. You're going to get lower ownership on Murray if you're on tournaments. I think they're both phenomenal plays. So if it's a GPP, I'm going to say Murray. Bradley's fine. A couple of these guys are going to hit. A couple of these guys are not going to hit. And unfortunately, we don't know what that's going to look like. So I'm taking shots on almost all of the value on Indiana and hope you put the right pieces together. Anyone that's telling you, here's the Indiana play that you have to have, they're full of it. It's a guessing. Outside of Siakam, I don't know what the hell this team's going to look like. I know the minutes are going to be there. The opportunity is going to be there. But who is the right answer? I don't know. I'm going to mix and match them.
Yeah. Okay. Beer, any love for Jalen Johnson in a GP?
Yeah, I mentioned him. A lot of love for Jalen Johnson. That's a great game to target. Porter showing ownership. Cam might get some ownership at the Atlanta side. Trae Young, I mentioned, isn't showing a ton of ownership. Jalen Johnson's going to be under 10%. Absolutely love him in tournament.
I think this is a 1v1 Noto, but I'm not quite sure. Maybe he didn't finish the question. It says Mitchell or Kessler, which doesn't make sense, right?
I guess if you're leaving money on the table, point per dollar, I like Kessler.
Yeah.
If you can use the other.
Yeah, and maybe he was finishing up some thoughts there. Joey says, your thoughts on Grayson Allen on a FanDuel GPP. Are you fading the 50% P own? Is Grayson Allen 50% owned?
He's had a ton of ownership with the injuries there, and it's generally somebody I don't play, when he's going to be highly owned. Yes, there's some upside there, but if you're playing a Phoenix Sun guy, I think you want Royce O'Neal for value, or Devin Booker you spend up on.
Yeah, 54% ownership.
Yeah, no, thank you. I'll have 0 and take my chances.
Wow. Okay, I think we got Jorge's question in. He was just kind of typing and accidentally hit enter. Noto, it's Kessler and D. Mitchell or Jalen Johnson and Markkanen. It's a DK cash question.
I'd go number 1.
Okay, very good. Hammer says, Beer, rate your 3 best Bulls plays tonight.
Well, I really like Trey Jones, so he's probably my number 1. Vooch, probably number 2, and I don't have much past them, but I would say Desanmu, probably number 3.
Okay, we'll go to Coach B. Beer, Jalen Johnson, and Giddey, or AD and Sharp.
Oh, I'm going to go Johnson and Giddey, but those are all 4 plays I really like tonight.
Yeah. Olu says, Noto, can you find me a good point on DK under 6K? So point guard, DK, 6K or cheaper.
Love Westbrook, love Shepherd, love Ray J. Dennis. they're all way cheaper than 6K.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I'd probably just work things around. I think Russell's probably your highest projected guy, D'Angelo.
Okay, very good. Got a few questions here in the Discord. By the way, if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to hit the thumbs up. DKGPP, do you have any interest in a game stack? And if so, which game would you be stacking up? I will add, you can't say Indiana because he wants it to be low owned. So maybe outside of that game, Noto, is there a certain game where you're like, I could see playing pieces of both sides here and hoping it goes off?
Yeah, I think Atlanta, Brooklyn's probably my next favorite game stack.
Okay. DK Cash, Noto, Ray J, or Ben Shepherd? Who do you prefer?
I'm going Shepherd, but I like both.
Okay. Noto, right back to you because this was specifically worded for you. Murray, Morant, or Trey, FanDuel GPP?
Ooh, I like all three, but give me Ja Morant for tonight.
Okay. A few questions into the YouTube. Let me try to find where I was. Paul says, Beer, your favorite center of the 2 late games. So he's a crazy person. He's just playing the late slate.
Let me look at the late slate. Favorite center from the late slate. I mean, it's pretty ugly. I'm not gonna lie. So I suppose it's DeAndre Ayton, but
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
he's usually a guy I don't love. Like this, it's a bunch of guys I normally don't love. Gobert, Ayton. I mean, Jaren Jackson, we really haven't seen a huge ceiling on. They're all kind of in a similar bucket for me. So I would say Ayton, but I don't really love any of them.
Oh, all right.
And I know you got to play somebody, so it
Right.
ain't much help, but just giving you the truth here.
Yeah. Candace says, Beer, what about Gillespie for value?
He's kind of in the same bucket as Grayson Allen for me. I don't play a ton of them. I always see the appeal. The minutes are there. I probably like him a little bit more than Grayson Allen. He's not going to be as highly owned. So I think there's better value than Connor Gillespie.
All right. Noto, a few for you. We are inching towards lock here. Kessler and Donovan Mitchell, or Joker and Ray J?
Ooh, that one's tough.
Yeah.
I'll still go Kessler side.
J-Mam says, Noto, Ray J or Westbrook on FanDuel?
I have more Westbrook, but I have a lot of both.
Okay. Beer, Johnson or Vooch from our guy Budho?
If he's talking Jalen Johnson, I'll go that route.
Okay. DK Cash, Beer, Ray J, or Ben Shepherd?
I'm a Team Ray J tonight, or Team Rage, if you prefer.
Yeah.
We still need to see their starting lineup. I think if Ray J starts, I think I might lean that way.
Yeah.
Just
Reeves
think
or
for
Booker?
so many minutes for especially the guards. No Halliburton, no McConnell. Like both, I think, and they could end up splitting, and that could be plenty of minutes for both. So
yeah. Reeves or Booker in a FanDuel GPP? Reeves, I feel like, is chalky. I don't know. Noto, do you have a strong Reeves or Booker lean?
I like both. I think you can play both together, but I can't go against Reeves.
Yeah.
To me, Reeves isn't high owned enough. And that's one, like, I don't care what the number is. I'm still playing him. That's chalk. I think is good. Grayson Allen, bad.
Yeah. All right. We're coming up on lock. I got one more question from Riley before we bounce. Beer, Flag and Zinger, or McDaniels and Kessler?
I'm going to go McDaniels and Kessler. Now, Flag, it is interesting. Everybody was excited and playing him, and his ownership was crazy. Now tonight, nobody wants to. Coming off of that dud. So he's interesting, but I really like Walker Kessler. He's just a guy that can rack up a lot of stuff very quickly.
Yeah. All right. Hey, good stuff. Shout out to everybody in the chat saying some kind words, dropping us some niceness. Hope you win a GPP. Joey says, you guys do a heck of a job. Thank you. We appreciate that. We're going to be back here tomorrow. We do it every single day. So make sure you're coming back around for Noto, for Beer, for our wonderful production crew, always working hard behind the scenes. Guys, we appreciate you. We love you, and we will catch you tomorrow. You have